The key idea here is to have the grasses eaten down to about 3 to 4 inches in height.
Okay.
And then take the animals off and allow that grass to regrow back up to a foot to 18 inches. District purchases a herd of grazer goats, and they're kept out here. They can keep the blackberries down, and then we would take them to different projects and pin them in so they just eat directly the blackberries. There are certain types of goats that will do that, just eat on the blackberries.
Really? Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
their diet. I'm here more or less looking at the potential of an incubator farm situation and how we might partner together and make that become a reality.
I think that's awesome. I mean, my vision is now starting to get clearer and clearer, which is so great. I started with this idea. I didn't know how I was going to accomplish any of it, really. And then, finding Melissa was great. And
Yes, she's a wealth of knowledge.
Oregon State University Small Farms Program, right?
Well, she is head of the Lane, Lynn, and Benton counties, and honest about, the potentials and possibilities of what you're thinking as your vision.
Oh, that's wonderful. So excited. Look at this beautiful tree.
Yeah. Most of this up here is class 1 soil.
In this pasture land that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all good.
And then
so that
back
would be...
there is what's, what is it, McBee?
McBee.
MCBEE. And that's clay soil.
Okay.
And that's why you have your wetland.
This ends up happening.
The riparian area. And I don't know the name of this creek. I'd like to find out what it is. It runs year round. And I've crawled around down there and I've seen, I think, evidence of, what are those little things? They're not beavers. Nutria.
They dig holes in the bank, and that's where they make their homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they good or bad?
Bad.
Not that great. They're an introduced species. They came from, I believe, Australia.
Did see
A
footprints.
nutria looks similar to an extra large on steroid rat.
Yeah.
With a long tail that's rat tail.
Yeah. And woodland, right? So this is all this woodland in here too? I don't know, 4 or 5 acres in here. I've tried cutting a trail in there in years past, and then it just got overgrown and I can't keep up with it. How can we conserve this area and make it better?
Probably one of the key things would just be invasive species removal.
I have no idea what the invasive species are.
That's okay. We do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So removing a lot of the blackberry, and then potentially trying to stabilize the fruit.
But there's a lot of native species in here as well, so it would be a hand process primarily of removing.
Right here you can see this would be what's considered an incised stream bank, and you can plant native species along all of that to stabilize that soil.
Like the ferns?
More like willow or red osier dogwood, which look kind of like willow. They're just red branches. Things with really thick roots are really good at stabilizing stream banks like this. And then also it helps filter water, especially during storm events. So water is cleaner for fish that potentially inhabit this creek.
Okay.
Or larger creeks that this was considered more of just like a full-scale restoration project where you want to, there are certain times of year when blackberry is most vulnerable to being, I guess, killed off, or usually taking out blackberry, especially an organic route, it's going to take a few years, but it's doable. And then it usually involves mowing and or mulching or using goats And then there are some other invasives you have in here, but
There's some beautiful wild rose. Is that
Yeah.
invasive? Or is that...
no,
Oh, good.
and that's a really great. This
Yeah,
is
they're
all great.
beautiful.
A lot of your species are really great.
And I think this is a place that the deer nest and have their babies. So I like I like having a woodland area
Yeah.
that's thick like that for habitat for them.
Another maybe long-term vision from like a full ecology standpoint, what would be best is to potentially at some time consider removing this
Oh, the culvert?
and then putting in a bridge so that the creek can naturally be reconnected to its base channel.
Oh, okay.
Because these tend to be damaging. So part of it is we don't really know if this is fish bearing. Historically, almost all creeks were fish bearing though, so it has maybe potential to be. I would guess that it is based off its size and the fact that it's year round. What are called velocity barriers during storm events or during dry events where they either push water through at an unnaturally fast pace, which can have negative impacts downstream and kick up river water, or make it impossible for fish to pass back up because the water is just too, hard of pressure. Or the opposite can happen where normally this would perhaps be fully connected, but because the culvert's kind of like just above what is actually the base of the stream bed, fish will get stuck on one end of it when during the summer, and then sometimes that can lead to die-off. I would consider starting to plant some large trees in here, maybe 10-gallon or larger trees, possibly now. I mean, they always say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. But all of these are ash, and because of that invasive beetle, these are projected to all be dead in the next 10 years. And so as a form of making this ecosystem resilient, you could plant it now with biodiverse native species.
Okay, but we'd have to clear this stuff out first, right?
To an extent, but that is kind of part of restoration projects in general. There's always invasives you have to clear out.
So could that all be part of this incubator program?
Yeah, definitely. It wouldn't be. That is more on the restoration side of things. But so I don't know if I don't know per se where it would fall in, but regardless, as a side project, that could occur.
Okay.
Water, rivers and streams and lakes, support I think it's 99.6% of all life on Earth. So wildlife need this area.
I love that area.
And in the Pacific Northwest specifically, a lot of the native species here are adapted to temperate climate. And so with a heating planet because of climate change, making sure that you're establishing shaded areas is vital. For
I love it.
Yeah, we've talked about
Yeah,
it.
and probably what I would look at doing is a project that would remove this culvert and put a bridge over.
I couldn't agree more.
Look at the horsies. Hi, sweethearts. Hi, sweetheart.